There is a case to be made for Kyle Shanahan being Coach of the Year because resilient is what he is and a little genius. Getting to this point in the playoffs with what he has been given. There's a lot of reasons the 49ers should not be in this position, but here they are. They beat the defending Eagles on the road as a 5.5 underdog, 23-19. Look at the injuries there. 3 first-team All-Pros, last 2 first-round picks, and their other top linebackers, all of them were hurt. But it's not just this game. The entire season, the injuries have piled up for a total between all the players who were hurt, 287 missed games. That is 5th most in the NFL. And they've had to rely on some unlikely starters. When Brock Purdy was hurt, Mac Jones came in and carried things for them. Demarcus Robinson. Taking a look at this quote from Kyle Shanahan. Oh, nope, I lied. Can they keep it rolling despite yet another devastating injury with George Kittle, who is now out for the season with that torn Achilles that he suffered against the Eagles? Here is the quote from Kyle Shanahan. I kind of felt it in OTAs. I remember saying it after week 1. I thought we had a special group of guys. All the credit to those guys. A lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan as well. So the 49ers are getting ready to take on the Seahawks. This is going to be a very difficult meeting for the 49ers, who are going into this as a 7-point underdog. The Seahawks, if you remember, coming off a bye, they are rested. They are the favorites to win the Super Bowl as the 1 seed in the NFC. So let's bring back in our guys here. Leger Douzable, Kyle Long, Pete Prisco, getting us ready for this game. 49ers, how much hope do they have in this? How long can they keep this magic machine running with all of these backups?
They have a lot of hope, right? They're playing with a lot of confidence. Now, it sucks to see them continuously have frontline, perennial all-pro guys go down. We just saw George Kittle go down. But the one thing about this team, and you talked about it, Amanda, I think Kyle Shanahan should be Coach of the Year for what he's gotten this team to, right? The double-digit wins despite all the injuries. But the inventiveness of Kyle Shanahan can keep them in this game. I mean, I go back to last week versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They lose George Kittle. You know what he does? He puts Kyle Juszczyk in the game. They use him essentially as a tight end. And Kyle Juszczyk, having played with him for 1 year in San Fran, he has a unique skill set. The ability to run routes like a receiver in a fullback's body. And the thing is, when he gets the ball in the open field, he's dropping a shoulder on you. He was pivotal on checkdowns and routes in the middle of the field in that 3rd and 4th quarter for the Philadelphia Eagles. So anytime you have Kyle Shanahan, you're able to maybe overcome some of your deficiencies on offense. Adversity on the defensive side, Robert Saleh has these guys playing hard. You probably can't name their linebackers right now. I know Eric Kendricks is one of them. They're literally on linebacker 5 and 6. Yeah. But he continues to get these guys to play at a high level, and the effort is what I see on tape, and that's what is giving them a chance during the playoffs.
All you can ask for as a player is to be put in positions to have success. Yeah. And even though they've had all these guys, 287 games missed on that route.
Crazy.
Insane.
It looked like a typo on that graphic, and it's shocking, stunning, all that stuff. But Pete and I were talking earlier, you got to give so much credit to both coordinators on both sides of the ball for the Niners, because Saleh stepped up and Shanahan has been business as usual. Now, I think against this Seattle Seahawks team, you can use your Superman powers to your advantage, and that's Christian McCaffrey, his ability to win in choice route situations, the ability to take the edge off of the sword of that defensive front. How do you do that? You get the ball out quick. How do you do that? You insert through the A and the B gaps with a fullback. Some of those internal chips turning into choice routes. I'm glad you touched on Juszczyk. He will definitely be utilized in this football game, and I think that's what it comes down to. Avoiding the rush, getting the ball out on time, and that guy back there, number 13, Brock Purdy, having the wherewithal and the understanding of when to tuck it and when to run. Low red area, he's been a dangerous, dangerous weapon with his legs.
The last time they played, they didn't have Trent Williams. That's enormous for that offensive line. I mean, and if you're going to beat the Seahawks, you have to block the Seahawks, because that's the key to their defense, is being able to pressure the quarterback. What I want to see is early in the game, and Kyle Shanahan was great the other day against the Eagles. He came out and he said, you know what? I'm not coming in here playing scared. I'm firing that shot down the field against Fangio's defense, and they hit it, and he turned it into a touchdown. He has to do the same thing in this game. Don't play scared. Go in there and throw it around early and dictate tempo. Get McCaffrey in the passing game. Get Juszczyk in the passing game. Get them all involved in the passing game and dictate to that team. If he does that, they have a chance to win the game.
Okay, how do they do it against the Seahawks Seahawks defense. The Eagles defense is fantastic. The Seahawks defense is absolutely unreal.
A lot of war daddies on that team. Mike McDonald's done a masterful job of giving you different looks. And honestly, the Swiss Army knife that kind of holds it all together is Nick Emanwari. Because the funny thing is, Clint Kubiak and Kyle Shanahan are from the same tree. Clint Kubiak came under Kyle Shanahan. And when you look at it, it's kind of like that Spider-Man meme, right, Kyle? The offense is pointing back at each other because they like to go bigger personnel groupings, like one back, two tight ends, and they both use fullbacks as well. But, this is when they stretch you vertically, right? That's when they go heavy play action pass. So when you talk about how can Kyle, attack this defense, right? You got to be able to be real inventive in your personnel groupings. We talked about Kyle Juszczyk the other just a second ago. He's got to be able to win for some of those linebackers in space. They're going to keep Nick Emanwari in as a linebacker, even on base downs, because he's a cyborg, right? So that gives them an advantage. And we saw when they played 2 weeks ago, he kind of manned up a lot on George Kittle and had a lot of success. Well, now that George Kittle isn't there, I wonder what Mike McDonald does with his skill set. Because I know Kyle Shanahan is going to try to exploit some of those linebackers in coverage with Kyle Juszczyk.
But he's a rookie, and it's his first playoff game, and you tend to be aggressive in your first playoff game, and Kyle Shanahan is great at taking your aggressiveness and using it against you, and I think that's what you got to look for early in the game. This is a Kyle Shanahan. This will be a Kyle Shanahan masterclass on offense.
So let me ask. Oh, go ahead.
Just exactly what he said. I used to call it jiu-jitsu, okay? Using the strengths of your opponent against them. And what is the strength? It's that front four. It's those guys who can pin their ears back and rush the quarterback. And they cover on the back end well, and they count on those front four. Just like Philly took that unit and won the Super Bowl with them and dominated. It's because they can rush. They have coverage options on the back end. But to your point about Emanwari, if he gets aggressive, if he starts sniffing around like a bloodhound, screen, and then you're out the gate. Christian McCaffrey's running with a convoy of Niners out in front.
Really quickly then, so the Seahawks, how do they avoid that? Knowing that Kyle Shanahan's going to be in his bag. I mean, we saw what Juwan Jennings did. We saw Christian McCaffrey and stuff like that. You got to shut him down. What do you want to see from this defense?
It comes to eye discipline. I was just actually watching this game the last week, the Eagles versus the 49ers, and there was a lot of bad eye discipline by the secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it caused Brock Purdy to take some shots down the field. So if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you got to have great eye discipline, right? You can't let the eye candy fool you because you're going to get pre-snap motion on like every single play, right? But you have to understand your responsibility and hone in that. And to Kyle's point, the defensive line has to take over. Now, the San Francisco 49ers actually blocked really well last week versus the Eagles, and that was a surprise to me. I thought that Eagles D-line would get after them. We saw that this D-line got after them 2 weeks ago, but to Pete's point, Trent Williams didn't play in that game. Like Leonard Williams and those guys up front, DeMarcus Lawrence, they have to take over this game. That way it throws the San Francisco 49ers off kilter.
Nobody in the last 10 years has done a better job of getting your defense flowing one way and throwing back the other way than Kyle Shanahan. Nobody. Whether it's the fullback, the tight end, it doesn't matter. They are great at sneaking you out the back door while you're flowing the other way, and I look for them to hit a couple of those in this game as well.
Okay, let's talk about Sam Darnold. People asking, will he turn back into a pumpkin? I feel like, though, we are now in the divisional round, and we have been asking this question. Granted, we didn't see him last week, and all season, really at the end of the season, not wanting to see what happened with the Vikings. Kyle, I'm going to start with you. I trust you a little bit more here than I do Uncle Pete over here.
What am I going to say?
I don't know what you're going to say. That's just it.
I think the hardest thing that Sam Darnold has to contend with is the fact that they did have a break.
Okay.
And the pressure starts to build. Now, as I said earlier, there's pressure on every single one of these guys, Josh Allen included, and all the other great quarterbacks. Sam Darnold understands that questions are going to be answered, and I think if you're not the one seed, you don't get the bye week. You get to go out there, and you're probably going to have a better team, and you're going to win. He's had a week to wait. He's gotten to see all the teams, and that can weigh on a guy. Now, I do think Sam Darnold's going to go out there and have a great game, and I think the Seattle Seahawks will handle business. But that's the one question mark I have. And I'm not going to say he's going to turn into a pumpkin, but nobody is immune to the pressure of the playoffs. And if you're the one seed and you're at home, expectations are extremely high for them. So that's what I think he's going to be contending with mostly.
I mean, look, this is on him. It's your moment. You could say it, Eddie. We could talk about the defense. We could talk about it. But this is your moment, Sam Darnold. He did not play well in the playoffs. He didn't play well in the playoffs. He didn't play well in the game before the playoffs last year when he was in the same kind of situation. Shaheed saved them a couple weeks ago against the Rams. He returned a punt, and then he had a reverse, and then he had the drive at the end of the game. He's got to be better this time around.
My thing is, why put it on him? Do you not remember the matchup 2 weeks ago? They ran for 180 yards.
Right.
The last 3 weeks, you know what the Seattle Seahawks have ran for? 160, 170, 180.
Come on.
It sets up the play-action pass to JSN. Why put it on Sam Darnold? Run the ball, because they ran the ball down San Fran's throat 2 weeks ago.
Let's get a very quick pick. I just want a money line. They're favored by 7, so whatever. Okay, Kyle's giving me his pick.
Seahawks win, but I think San Francisco hangs around.
I'm taking the Seahawks. I got them going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, there you go. Seahawks moving on, according to all of our experts, at least the ones sitting right here at this table. Getting ready for the divisional game, or weekend, I should say. Bills-Broncos, you can check out that game on CBS coming up on Saturday. 49ers-Seahawks, they are the biggest favorite of the weekend. Texans-Pats, and then Rams going up against Kyle Long's Bears, a team of destiny, according to him.